Many Muslims pray every day, but still feel spiritually empty. The salah is there, the actions are there, but something feels like it's missing. And that leads to a difficult question. Why does Iman feel weak even when you're doing everything you're supposed to, right? There's a common assumption that many people carry, often without even realizing it, that if a person is praying regularly, then their Iman must automatically be strong. That consistency in salah should naturally translate into a constant sense of closeness to Allah, spiritual clarity, and inner peace. But in reality, that's not always how it feels. There are many Muslims who are praying, who are maintaining their daily salah, yet still experience a sense of disconnection. Yes, the prayer is there, yes, the routine is there, but the heart doesn't always feel what it expects to feel. And this is important to say clearly. This isn't unusual, all right? It's more common than people often admit. Many believers go through periods where the outward structure of worship is in place, but the inward experience feels weaker or inconsistent. So the issue isn't simply whether a person is praying or not. The issue is understanding the relationship between the act of prayer and the state of the heart. And that brings us to the key question. Why does this disconnect happen even with regular prayer? Right? Islam doesn't just focus on actions, it focuses on the state of the heart behind those actions. So why does this disconnect actually happen? One of the main reasons is simple. The body is present, the mind is somewhere else. A person may be standing in prayer, but thinking about work or messages, stress, plans, anything but what they are saying, right? And when the mind is absent, the heart usually follows. Another issue is recitation without understanding, right? A person reads the same words every day, but doesn't really reflect on what they mean. So the tongue is just moving, but the meaning isn't landing. And when meaning is missing, the connection becomes weaker. Then over time, prayer can start to feel like a routine instead of a moment of reflection. Just something to complete, something to get through, not something to pause and engage with. And once it becomes routine in that way, then the depth starts to fade. On top of that, there's the constant influence of distraction, right? Phones, notifications, stress, endless stimulation, right? The mind gets used to always being occupied, always switching back and forth, always consuming. So when a person stands in prayer, the stillness feels unfamiliar, right? Focus feels difficult. And all this builds up, so it's not that the prayer has no value. And all this builds up, it's not that the prayer has no value. It's that the way it's being experienced has changed, right? The form is there, but the presence, the attention, the reflection, that's what starts to weaken. And that's where the disconnect comes from. But here's something many people don't realize. Feeling disconnected in your prayer doesn't mean your Iman is gone. In the Islamic tradition, there's a concept that speaks directly to this issue. It's called khushu, right? A state of focus, humility, and presence in prayer. Khushu is not just about standing and reciting. It's about the heart being hadir, right? Aware, attentive, present, engaged with what's being said. But this is important. Khushu is not something that appears instantly. It has to develop over time. Scholars spoke about it as something that grows with practice, through reflection, through consistency, through gradually training the heart to be more present, right? Hadir. It's not realistic to expect that every prayer will feel deep, focused, and spiritually intense from the very beginning. And even strong believers struggle with this. Distraction in prayer is not a modern invention. It's something people have always dealt with. The difference isn't that some people never struggle, it's that they keep working. They keep working on their presence instead of giving up on it. And that's why, in our tradition, consistency matters more than perfection. A person isn't expected to achieve flawless focus in every prayer. What matters is that they continue to pray, continue to try, and continue to improve. Khushu' is not a switch you just flip, right? It's something that you have to build. And this brings us to something deeper now. A salah is not only an obligation to be completed, right? It's meant to be a connection. That's what the word means. It's a moment where a person steps out of everything else, out of noise, out of pressure, out of distraction, and stands before Allah. But the reality is, most people today are living in a state of constant distraction. The mind is always busy. It's always processing something, always switching from one thing to another, right? And when that becomes your normal state, it doesn't just turn off the moment you say Allahu Akbar. The heart carries that restlessness into the prayer. And there's also something else happening. The heart becomes overloaded. Too much input, too much noise, too many concerns, right? It's like Allah says in the Quran, Inna sa'yakum lashatta. Indeed, your endeavors are diverse, right? Work, messages, responsibilities, stress, even entertainment, it all builds up. And when the heart's full of everything else, it becomes harder for it to be fully present in salah. So the issue isn't that prayer has lost its meaning, it's that the state we're living in is making it harder to feel that meaning. And once you see that, the problem starts to make more sense. It's not just about what happens inside the prayer, it's also about what's happening outside of it. So what can you actually do to improve this? I'd say start simple. First, slow down your prayer, right? Don't rush through it just to get it done. Give each movement a moment. Let the words settle a little. Even this small change in pace can make a huge difference. Second, learn the meanings of what you recite. You don't need to learn everything all at once, right? Start with small parts, like Al-Fatiha, or the phrases you repeat every day. When you understand even a little of what you're saying, it becomes easier for the heart to really engage. Third, remove distractions before you pray. Put the phone away. Finish what can be finished ahead of time. Give yourself a minute to pause before you start. Don't just jump into your salah straight from noise and expect instant focus. And finally, be mentally present. Even if it's only partial at the beginning. Don't wait for perfect focus. Just try to be aware. Be aware of the fact that I am standing before Allah. Even if your mind drifts, bring it back. Again and again, if you have to. That's enough to start. Because the goal isn't perfection. The goal is to build presence over time. And small steps, done consistently, are what get you there. Now the key thing to remember is this. Feeling disconnected doesn't mean your faith is gone. It means your connection just needs attention. And when you focus on the quality of your prayer, not just completing it, right? That's when salah starts to feel different again. Now, if this helps you understand something about your prayer, consider subscribing. On this channel, I break down real struggles Muslims face so you can practice your faith with clarity and confidence.